Yes, guys, this is Cut to the Chase podcast. Thank you guys for coming back and listening. I appreciate you guys always tuning in. It's very I'm very happy that I have listeners out there, and I always want to thank you guys. So again, thank you for tuning to another episode of Cut to the Chase podcast. I am Chase Abel. You guys can follow me. I'll get all my plugs out in the way at Chase Abel on Instagram, ABEL. I have everything there, and all my shows and all my dates are there. You guys can follow me there. I'm not going to even wait to get to introduce this individual. I would say that this particular episode has been many years in the making. I said to myself when I started this podcast that I would interview people and bring people on who have been very instrumental in my process of actually this entertainment business, being a comedian, being an actor, being a podcaster. It all started from somewhere. Everyone who starts something always had to start from somewhere. And one of the things I also remember is that, when you start somewhere, you also learn from somebody. Anyone who says they did it by themselves is full of shit, in my opinion. I'm just going to cut to the chase, no pun intended. I believe that everybody who became something or become who they want to be has help or some type of somebody in their life, present, past, or future, that kind of gave them some advice at one point, helped them move in a certain way, whatever it is. And this particular individual was probably the most influential person that kind of helped me understand how the entertainment business kind of worked. And he is a staple in Boston, been a DJ for many years. He has helped many people groomed into DJs that you guys have heard of, as that you guys enjoy. So I like to bring on my friend, many years in the making. We're here now, DJ Ilabash.
Boom, you understand? From top to the last drop.
How you doing, brother?
Maintaining one day at a time,
Yeah. It's been many years, man.
A long time.
We sometimes I get into how we met. Sometimes right. I think for this particular episode, it's important.
Right.
I believe the first time that I met you was when I was moving my stuff into my college dorm. And I heard some loud music coming from next door. Some good old reggae music,
that was me.
And I was like, who the heck is playing music as they're moving in? Because I'm nervous. I want to make sure I get my first bed right. I want to get dibs on the bed.
Right.
When you move in college, you want to make sure you got the right dresser.
Everything.
You got to get the right.
And if it's bunk, you're not on the top.
Exactly. Which is interesting because my first semester I had to sleep on the bunk. That wasn't good.
Those are never good.
But we actually met in college.
Yeah, we did.
We met in college. Ironically, that college is not there anymore. You know that?
Yeah. Some years ago, a friend of mine who went to Northeastern, we're in contact frequently. She sent me an article that UMass bought Mount Ida.
Yeah.
And as I was reading through the article, I said, "Man, this is crazy," because it's funny because I started off college in Manchester, New Hampshire, at Hesse College.
Right, Hesse College, yeah.
And Hesse College also got bought out, so Hesse College is not there no more. And then...
So it's your fault that Mount Ida got bought out too? Is that what we're saying?
I'm like, I went here, okay, then they buy that out. Then I went over here again, then they bought that out. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what's really going on,
right. Yeah.
Am I able to shit and all that?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
We're a friendly podcast for sure.
Oh, okay. I just want to.
they're gonna hear cuss words at some point. So,
cool.
Yeah, we met in college, man, and from the first time that I met you, man, you had this positive, very energetic energy that I observed about you. Mm-hmm. That people they just gravitated towards your presence. I don't know what it was, but I do know what it was. At the time I didn't know,
right?
But I knew over time why. And you it exuded also in the way you DJ'd as well.
Yeah.
And can you tell me about how you started getting into DJing? Real briefly, because I know a lot of people don't know, how DJing is. Because there's a lot of listen, I'm gonna get to it. There's a lot of bullshit DJs out right now.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure you're the pioneer of like one of the pioneers of the Boston.
So there's a lot of DJ out there that they're not necessarily DJs. They just spin records and that's it. And then there's actually DJs. For me, being the DJ is not just going into the club or the party or whatever and getting the hottest songs and playing. That's not that for me.
Right.
For me, I look at myself as someone who delivers music. I don't just come and play it. I deliver music to you.
That's a different message, right?
Different message. I deliver it to you. Anyone could just come and play something. The people are coming in, they're looking for a connection. They're looking for, it's a service you're providing. And for me, I'm a customer service. So at the time I'm inside whatever event it is that's going on, from the time I'm playing music, whether I'm hosting, whatever it is I'm doing, I am, delivering something to you. And I have to make sure that what I'm delivering is authentic because I'm in your position.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the one paying the money coming in. This is how I think of it. I'm paying to come in. So I'm one of you out in the audience.
Right.
What am I here to get? What am I going to take away from this night?
Right.
At the time I leave? Why would I want to hear you again? Why would I want to see you again? Why would I want to come in the same place where you are again? And that for me was it was everything.
Yeah. It's interesting that you said that again, because that's one of the things that you told me when I used to roll with you. You would say, I would be like, I would ask you questions like, how do you know what they want to hear? How do you know how to spin to this different song? And you said exactly the same thing. You said it's a feel.
Mm-hmm.
You got to feel it. You got to, you told me one of the things, as being an artist, you said, you have to put yourself in that person's shoes.
100%.
Why am I going to come back and see this individual? Why am I going to pay money to see this individual give me a good time?
Right.
What is it about him that's going to make me come back? And I could tell you right now, I was part of your, I guess I was lucky enough to witness and be part of your group of following you around and experiencing all the nightclubs, all the college parties, all the private gigs. And those were times where people came to dance, right?
Correct.
Let me just break it down, some of the nightclubs that I remember the Palladium that you used to tell me stories about the Palladium that you used to spin with DJ G-Spin.
Yeah.
Right? And then you went on to doing, coming on to the Boston scene, right?
Yep.
And then you started working in clubs such as like Palace, right?
Yep.
The Palace with DJ, I remember we used to work working with DJ Chaos.
Correct.
And, we all eventually kind of like helped and groomed a lot of DJs that we hear now.
Yeah.
Like we hear Static Selector.
Yeah, Static.
You remember Static?
Yeah, so Static was a unique case.
He was.
Static, like he knew how to spin, but in a lot of cases I would, because they all wanted to learn about reggae music.
Yeah.
And
everyone came. You were the guy.
Yeah. And,
you were the guy.
It had times me and Static was at my house. I had to give Static records.
I remember those days.
And hey, Static, look, take these, even some hip-hop records.
Yeah.
I used to have to give it to him so he could be able to play. At different times, we go into the clubs and everything. I'll go and pick him up. We ride together. I take him home, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
So all of those things there, I didn't mind doing it because I looked at it as, okay, if you are a DJ and you're trying to do the best that you can, then you're a soldier. So I don't mind helping.
You always been a big thing. You always had this thing about paying things forward.
Yeah.
Right? Where did that come from? Did that come
father.
From
Yeah, my father.
Yeah.
Because my father used to always tell me, if you don't have nothing to give anyone, you have kindness to give to them.
Right.
Give them kindness.
Yeah.
Because he said that is the only thing you could ever leave on the face of the earth for all your kids. That is all you could do. You could only, no matter what, no matter how much money you have, they could spend it. But if you leave kindness, that could help get them a long way.
Yeah. You've always been that type of individual. I've always admired your willingness to help people. And a drop of a dime, too, by the way. If someone was... Listen, man, there were times, man, we got some stories, man. You know, there's some road trip stories. Yeah. We would go, me and you. And then, you know, it was another thing that also kind of you taught me as well. Art is a moving art. Like, it's a moving target, art.
Correct.
You have to be able to move. You have to be at a moment's notice. Yeah. You always have to be prepared if there's a gig that comes up.
You got it ready. You got to be ready. You got to be ready.
How much is that? How much is being ready an important thing?
It's very important because life, for me, we wasn't ready for life, but life happened. So the fact that at the time life happened, you have to be ready for what life gives you. That's why I always made sure and stayed stock up on music. Every week, back then I was spinning records. So every week I would be inside the record stores making sure I'm up to date. I have everything. So just in case if I get a call for a gig last minute, I don't have to worry. I know from the time I get there. And for me, one of my things is, and I don't know how much DJs pay attention to this, but as soon as I go inside, whether it be a club, a private party, whatever the case may be, when people come inside the club or come inside the event, how they walk into the place lets you know
if they're ready to.
Well, it lets you know a lot about how their day's been going. I was able to pick that up, and it lets me know what their vibe is.
Interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of times if you see a group of females of 2 or more, between 2 and 5 come in.
Right.
Generally, sometimes it's somebody's birthday or they decide to get together. They haven't seen each other for a long time. So they came out to party. They came out to have a good time.
And I came out for them to party as well.
Yeah. Now, if you see like a couple of females come in and their eyes is wandering, it's probably their first time in there.
Right.
And they're looking around. So they're there to have a good time, but they're for experience this is their first time in there.
Yeah.
You see guys come in, if you see one guy by himself, probably having a bad day. And you watch how he moves around and how long before they go to the bar. That's very important. Yeah. How long it take them to go to the bar, it tells you something. It tells you, okay, they probably already been pre-gaming. So you know they already got a little bit of liquor.
Got a little liquor.
Yeah. So now this is where, at the time you play now, you play to cater to them. So if there's 10 people in there and you see how they walk from time they come in, even sometimes how they dress, you start to play for them.
I see.
So as you start to play for them now, everyone else who comes in already see a vibe happening.
Right.
And they're going to join in. And as you watch the others come in, then you start to mix it up a bit. So then everybody starts to mingle.
Everyone starts to mingle.
Everyone starts to mingle.
And that was the thing that made our time, our generation, special.
Exactly.
Right? We could go into a club mixed with all different types of people from different backgrounds.
Correct.
It didn't matter.
It didn't.
As soon as Ilabash comes on and spins, I witnessed it. Everyone goes on the dance. Everyone's on the dance floor. Yeah. Everyone. And you still have a huge following. Yeah. And there's people that still follow you from 25 years ago.
Man, listen, different people who I ran into at different times, they would tell me, man, listen, I used to follow you every club you went to.
Oh, yeah.
Every college party you went to, every private party. I had a couple of females who told me that they found out weddings I was doing, and they just came. They just came to the wedding.
Right.
Yeah, like,
they just did the wedding crasher shit. They just came up.
Why are you coming to the wedding? It's like, we just wanted to be where you at spinning. I ran into people who said to me, because me going to your parties and stuff like that, I met my husband, I met my wife. Right. I had,
there was a lot of things that were happening when people were coming to you.
A lot.
There's a lot of people that catered a lot of things.
Yeah, and some of those things, like, I wasn't aware of it until later on. People say, I meet them sporadic in different places and stuff like that, and then they'll, hey, Ilabash, and then we're talking, they'll tell me.
When I say that I kind of mirrored your model of how to move in the business, I really mean that. Because when I used to roll with you, me and you, I would promote clubs,
Right.
Whatever clubs that you were at, I'd help you promote.
Right.
I wasn't a DJ, right? I mean, I wasn't one of your like up and coming DJ
Right.
people that you were molding. But I don't know how you would describe me back then, but I think I was just a guy that just was interested.
Right. No, it's true. It's true because I remember Sarah from Amherst when she was going to school down in Amherst down there.
Okay.
And
that's a smart school, by the way, if you didn't know. That's a smart school. I didn't go to that school.
So her and I used to date in the past, things happen and, but we still kept in contact.
Right.
And she had hit me up back then. We had MySpace and shit like that.
MySpace. Oh my God.
So she hit me up and she's like, "Hey, I'm down here in school, broke, blah blah blah, such and such." College kids, all of us, So I asked. I said, "You guys live in a dorm?" She said, "No, we have our own house." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And that's when we took a trip down there.
I remember that night.
Yeah, and we saw the place and everything. And when I looked at it, I said, "Look, listen, everything started working. All my gears started working. And that's when I said, look, we could make money here. This right here, this living room, we could make money. Okay, would you guys get in problems if you put all the furniture outside?" She said, "No." So I said, "Okay, so this is what you got to do. You're going to promote a party here. Give it at least 3 weeks. And every student organization from Holyoke, Hampshire College, Amherst, UMass, everything, Smith College, everybody.
Right.
The people who have parties, invite them.
Mm-hmm.
The president of all these organizations, invite them and introduce them to me. That's all you got to do."
So you always had a business orientated mind. Yeah. As soon as you walk in, and that's where I got it from you. I'm telling you, because when I walk into situations, being a comedian, it's kind of similar in a way, right? We're performing in front of people. You're a performer. We need people to work.
Absolutely.
There's no other. That's how we operate.
Absolutely.
That's our language.
We need people.
We need people.
Yeah.
We need instant reactions. We need to see if things are happening. We need to feel, like you said, who's having a good time, who's not. Because if I'm on stage and if I see someone not having a good time, if I'm telling jokes, it's not necessarily meaning like my jokes are not working. Maybe just having a bad day. They're not
Correct.
They're still stuck in that wheelhouse of those negative thoughts from maybe that boss that yelled at him a couple hours ago.
Correct.
So I need to let's communicate. Let's get that out.
Right.
And then now we're on board. Now everyone's on the same page.
100%.
And that's where I saw a lot of you when you're spinning. You would say, I mean, there's so much to say and there's so much stories, but I'm trying to condense them so we can get piled through this. But I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who was someone that you looked up to as a DJ that you would kind of mirror, or not as much mirror, but was influential to you?
I think,
or if there was, some people don't. Some people just.
I didn't actually. I didn't have a DJ that I actually looked up to. How I first got into music, period. Originally from Grenada, it's a small island in the Caribbean. When I came to the U.S., that's when the music that was inside of me came out, because my oldest brother,
right?
He would buy records and he would make.
Is it Ricky?
Yeah,
Ricky. Listen, I learned patois. I was not West Caribbean at all, but I learned everything about Jamaican, Grenadian culture, Trinidad culture from this guy's house, because they don't. This is how they answered. I remember your mom. She would answer. There's no different houses have their different love language.
Correct.
You guys had your own love language.
Yeah.
You guys talked loud, but it wasn't fighting. It was the more louder you talked, the more love you had for each other.
Right.
So it wouldn't be like, hey, my mom would be like, hey, Abel, come. Abel, can you come here? Your mom's like, Ricky, where you want? Why you want?
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it was. And so he would make he would buy the records, and it was fascinating to me how the music would be on the record and it get onto the cassette. So that right there sparked my interest.
Okay.
So at different times he would make, you'd come by the house, he'd do his thing and stuff like that. And then I wanted to find out how this music is transferring. Now I'm like probably like this. I was like, what, 10, 11 years old? So the first thing I did was I opened the turntable. Like I look at how everything is going, and I took screwdrivers and I opened it. But I remembered how everything was, so I could put it back so I don't get in trouble with my pops. So I opened everything up, and that's when I saw the little belt and different things like that. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still not understanding how the music is getting over there onto it, So I said, maybe, I just leave this part alone. So then I went and bought a cassette tape.
Okay.
After I put the record player back together and everything like that, I went and I bought it, started doing my little thing at 11 years old. Then the amplifier, I wanted to know like how this is coming out through the speakers. Open up the amplifier as well. See how everything was working. Then I moved from that to opening up the mixer.
Right.
Then I moved from that to opening up and taking apart, the cassette player. Put everything back together. I just remembered how everything went, so I just put everything back together. And there was no problem. Everything was working. So that right there sparked my interest.
Okay.
Watching my brother do this. And as time moved on, I kept doing it. And then the one thing that got me into mixing was, how does he know where to pause it?
I see.
And then put in the other one. But you still had the little break, all right? So you could hear it kind of coming. So then I said, okay, that don't sound too good. It sound okay, but it don't sound too good. Now, how can I make it just go just like that? And so this is when I knew that I started practicing how to press pause on the cassette deck while, because the one that we had, you press play and record, and you could press pause and stop it.
This is what people don't understand. This is the equipment that I remember growing up on. Yeah. None of these kids know what the heck that is now.
No.
They don't understand that we had to stop, hit play,
all right,
go back. Oh, we didn't. It's the generation that we came from. It built patience.
Yeah, it did. So then now, after a while of doing it, I got to learn that, okay, at the time you press and pause, you don't just press it.
Right.
You put your hand down it, slow, and when it's almost to be halfway, then you press.
Right. It's a feel.
Right.
It's a feel.
So now, after you have it there, and when the other one come in, if it's going to come in on the kick, whatever's going to come in on, as soon as you time it where the kick is going to be, and as soon as you do this, you let it go. Mm-hmm. So then as soon as it comes back here and it's about to go, you let it go, they're going to go together.
Right.
So that's when I learned from just doing stop and, pause and stuff, how to make it sound like you're actually mixing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You had your own your own process.
Yeah.
To
And that was from the cassettes.
That's from the cassette.
That's from the cassettes.
Yeah.
So from there, like it automatically, like everything just started clicking, everything just started working.
Right.
And then every time I get a couple of bucks, I would go and buy records.
I remember I would go with you to the record store.
Mm-hmm.
This is when, vinyl was around, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about late 90s, early 2000s, right? And you had crates and crates of
I still have them.
I'm sure you do.
I still have them because those vinyls, even though you could get most of them on on iTunes or wherever you could get them now, but the feel of that, and I still have my record players and everything, but the feel of those is like a lot of the samplers that a lot of hip hop guys use. They took it from the records.
I see.
Yeah, they took a lot of those samples from the records. So I'm not giving up or getting rid of my records.
I wouldn't suggest you should. I think if you have the ability to keep them as long as you can.
Yeah.
That's kind of like it's a picture of your life.
Yeah.
Of those, I mean, God forbid, maybe 20, 30 years from now, they're antiques now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So forget about how they're going to probably be 40 years from now.
Exactly.
Right. I remember we used to go to Biscuit Head Records.
Yeah, it was DJ Bruno.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Bruno.
And we would be in the store for a minute.
Yeah.
For you, I'd be like, Nigel, come here. I was like, "Here we go."
Nah, you got to get it right.
Yeah.
You know, Bruno is a very, very good guy.
Yeah,
very good guy.
He was an instrumental DJ here in Boston.
Absolutely, and
house
promoter.
DJ, right?
Yeah.
House. He started in house. Right?
Yeah, and promoter because when I was DJing at the Coliseum up in Manchester, one of the promoters who worked for him down here in Boston, her name was Susan, and we went to Hesse College together. And my first gig in Manchester,
right,
I heard this guy named a DJ, very good guy all around, Danny D. His name is Danny D, DJ D Shop, right? I went, it was a Friday night, me and all of my college mates, all of us went to the club. And back then, it was $1 you call it.
What do you mean?
Dollar drinks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, $1 you call it. Whatever you want for $1, you get it.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So we went to the club, and I heard him playing, the reggae, and he playing Twice My Age, and, by Shabba Ranks and a couple other songs. I said, okay, I don't think this guy really knows how to spin reggae music.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say nothing yet.
Just gonna sit back and just let him.
I enjoy the music, but I was already prepared. Like at the end of the night, hey, listen, I heard you playing the reggae. And I said it just like this. I said, hey, listen, I heard you playing reggae music. How long have you been spinning reggae music, and are you a reggae DJ? He was like, oh, geez, man, no, I'm not a reggae DJ. Listen, I just get these from the pool, and they tell me this is hot, and I played. I said, listen, I'm a reggae DJ, man, What's up? He said, oh, my God, you're a reggae DJ? I said, yeah. He was like, do you have your records with you? I was like, yeah. And he said, can you come next Friday and bring a set for like half an hour so I can hear how you play?
Right.
I said, he have no idea.
Yeah, I'm ready. And that goes back to being prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
That you were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
That's another thing I learned from you.
Yeah, because I took all my records, I took it up to Manchester.
Yeah.
My turntables, everything, I took everything up there.
Can I say something?
Sure.
And then it's just going to be off track here for a second. We'll go back to that. I have to actually say thank you. And this is more of like a personal thing. You saved my life in Miami Beach. Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
South Beach.
Oh my God. Yeah. I do.
Yeah, you saved my life.
I do.
Okay, so real quickly,
Yeah.
we would,
no problem, man.
Yeah,
no
we
problem.
went. Me and you, we had a whole crew. And our crew was
deep.
Our crew was deep.
Yeah.
We weren't a crew that you could easily say something to
and just get away with
it. No, we didn't play that. And then we all went to South Beach. It was, I want to say 2002. It could be 2002, 2001. I could be
around there.
Around there.
Yeah,
man, it's been like 20 years. So one of our partners, he went on South Beach and
with his girlfriend.
Yeah. And then he's a black man. His girlfriend was a white girl.
Right.
And he was walking on the beach. Yeah. And there were some guys that said some racial remarks to him.
Correct.
So, things that I wouldn't say on this podcast.
Right.
But he came back to the hotel. See, the two guys that said something to him.
Yeah, they jumped him.
They actually jumped him.
Yeah,
they jumped him.
Yeah.
The two guys didn't know that he had.
Oh, he had a squad.
He had a squad back at the hotel. So he comes back, and our friend's named Anderson, aka Anderchick.
Right. By the way, he's doing it really well now.
Oh yeah, Anderson.
Yeah, he's doing it really well.
Everyone in our crew is doing well.
Yeah.
Everyone that our immediate circle, except for some, whatever.
Right.
The core people
doing well.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
And I think that's not even that's just I think a testament to who we were as people.
Exactly. A positive crowd. We were a good crowd,
yeah. So he came back to the hotel. It's me, you, and we have I think 4 or 5 other of our homies.
I think it was about 6 of us.
It was about 6 of us.
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, these people, they said the N-word to me, this and that. They come
and they started, and they jumped him on everything.
And they jumped him on the beach. I don't think I've never ran track, but I felt like I was Carl Lewis. I put on my sneakers.
Yeah, because it's like we're down there and all of this is happening, and it's like, okay, this is our partner, this is our friend. We down there to have a good time, and somebody, you know what I mean? Yeah. These people jumped him. It's like, what the hell is going on? We can't just let it just settle up like that. No.
So we ended up finding,
yeah,
we're from we grew up a little bit,
right. So what we did basically. His girlfriend's brother was there. He was white,
Yeah.
So we told him, okay, listen. He told us where the
Cool
hotel
too.
was.
Cool.
Very cool guy.
Cool dude.
So we had him be the front guy to go. We went through the whole hotel.
Yeah, he played the
Knocking
incognito.
on- yeah,
he was the incognito dude.
Knocking on every door. Hey, did you hear about a fight that happened in the hotel a little while ago? Until like we went through the whole thing, and the very last door we knocked on. The guy opened the door. One of the guys opened the door, and he said, "Hey, did you guys hear about a fight that happened in the hotel not too long ago?" He said, "Yes. We had to beat this ass, right?" And he used the N-word. So that was it.
Yeah.
As he had the guy had the door open. He just pushed it open like this.
Here he
And
is.
he just 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6. Guys just running in. And it was it got so bad I think couple guys hit like we was hitting each other.
Yeah, we were hitting each other.
Because mind you, we just coming from finished drinking, party and everything like that. So we kind of drunk too. You know what I'm saying? So everything was just going down. Everything was happening. And I'm like, oh my God.
I thought I was Coco Beware jumping off the freaking. I thought I was WWF. And
telling you.
And this is the part where you saved my life because I was a little slippery. I was a slippery fella. I wouldn't say I'm an intimidating person by the first sight of someone, but I was slippery. The guy ended up taking the lamp. One of the guys ended up taking the lamp, and he wanted to hit me with it. And
he threw it.
He threw it. I didn't see it, but he threw it. You saw it.
Yeah.
And you grabbed me. I don't know what it was. You know what it was? It was God. That's what it was. Because I'd never seen a hand, like you never know, just a hand come and just grab you and just say, zhoof. And as soon as you did that, the lamp hit the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And it shattered. And I was like, oh, he's God. DJ Ilabash is God.
No.
Yeah, he's special. I gotta stay connected to him. I had to bring that up though, because that was like, we have other stories, similar to that.
Because like what
I guess my point is, the reason why I brought that up is because you always had a very, very good sense of your awareness. You have you are aware of your environment. Always.
I try to be.
Well, better than the average. Trust me.
I try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that night, that night was something.
It was special. Yeah, it was good. It was over. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then fast forward now. It's been. You have how many years in the music business?
Oh, a long time, man. If I were to count it, I would say from since I was 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I DJ'd my first after party. And everyone in there was like in their late 30s, 40s and everything. And it was my sister and her boyfriend. I guess the DJ was late and they already had the equipment there. And they came and got me and they was like, hey, let's go. Because they used to listen to me spinning in the house.
Yeah.
And it was like, let's go. And I was like, all right, cool. And we had to sneak out because we couldn't let my mother and father know that I was actually going out to an after party where they'd be smoking weed, drinking alcohol and shit like that. So, we snuck out. And I was there for like about an hour and a half. And everybody was just like, how does he know all this kind of music?
Right.
Because I was playing for people in their late 40s and stuff like that. So I had, from since I got here, I started getting to know, the music from since back then, way back before I was even born.
Right.
But it's what felt like what gave me, like comforted my soul, comforted my spirit at the time I was spinning it. Right. And I just went in and played what I felt. And I played, when I saw them moving, I just continue giving it to them, and they was loving it.
Yeah, man. It doesn't surprise me that you say that because those are the same things that I think about too. When I started doing comedy, I do comedy, 2012, 2013.
Right.
But I think what helped me specifically is I started later in my years. Right. I wasn't necessarily like you, where you kind of knew what you wanted to do at a very early age. I feel like there's some people, they kind of already know when they're a young man or a young woman that this is it. This is the thing that they want to follow.
Right.
And there's other people that have to kind of find it.
True.
And I felt like I was one of those individuals. I had to go through a lot of different phases, a lot of different, character things, you know, all those things, right?
It happened because it helped to shape you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But one of the things I was able to kind of maneuver and I guess kind of excel
Right.
in the business of comedy and also just overall in general was honestly, I'm telling you, primary by watching you and how you kind of worked with people, different types of promoters as well, how you were able to like treat people with respect. Your
100%.
networking game was like fantastic, you know? And I always would sit back. I never told you, but I always would observe it.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, okay, so he talks to this promoter like that. Oh, he talks to this promoter like this. Okay, he spins it like this. He slows it down here. He spins it up here.
Right.
You know, he never says I never heard you ever say you will never do a gig. You would be like, I'll do it. But even if it's like 2 gigs in one night, you made it fit.
Yeah.
Because I think part of you is like you never wanted to disappoint people. Yeah, that was like a big thing for you. I feel like part of your character is like you just didn't want to disappoint people. You know?
Because for me, where the music and DJing and stuff is concerned, if you hire me for a gig, okay, this is my price.
I'm not hiring you. I can afford it. I can tell you right now, I ain't hiring you for shit.
And you know, back then, and you said, okay, listen, I can't afford to pay you this price. Okay, what can you do?
That's
okay,
me. That's exactly me.
I could do this. Okay, if you could do this, that's cool. But who else do you know that promotes and stuff like that?
Right.
Okay, so connect me with that person and be instrumental in me getting a gig with that person. And we could make it work like that.
It never stops at the first thing.
Correct.
There's always that.
Correct.
And I think people don't usually have that mindset. This is what I've noticed about people, especially now. There's very, very linear mindsets now.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people who look from a circular perspective. Very, very linear.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a good mindset. You know, I think it's, you know, I think you have to look at everything. You gotta kind of
absolutely.
You know. So did that help you? You know, with your career?
So me looking at the bigger picture at all times, it helped me a whole lot because I know even for like the clubs, at a certain point in time, a club may shut down. You know, the people who may own this club at this time, they don't really own it. They just probably lease in the building because they don't own the real estate. And these are all things a lot of DJs don't really get to know. So when they say, okay, someone come and say, I'm the owner, yeah, you're leasing it for a certain period of time. And most clubs, they usually lease them out for anywhere between 5 to 10 years.
Right.
And then after that, you know, they just don't renew the lease. And you hear the people say, oh, I sold it.
Right.
You just didn't renew your lease. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So all of these things I know.
Right.
So at the time, I really dove into the college gigs and stuff like that to make sure, okay, what's going to be my primary place that I'm going to circulate for at least 10 years? The colleges are not going anywhere.
Right.
The clubs, yes, because they could shut down at any time.
Yeah, they have the up and down moments.
Right. So they had times where it was a Friday night that we was doing called Bashment Fridays. Now, I started off doing dancehall Fridays at Club Europa. People probably don't know where Club Europa is. Is Bijou now. So over there it was Club Europa.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And the guys who was there,
popping.
Like I went through some things like you're gonna run into a lot of deceitful people, greedy people, all this stuff like that. But you just can't let.
I'm right in front of your face, Bosh. You don't have to say that.
You know, you just can't let that dictate your next move or the outcome. That's them.
I see.
That is not you.
I see.
You still have your road to rock, you know, to walk, because they're just the bump here that you're going to meet people on the way. So they had nobody going there on the Friday nights. Then they linked up with me and they said, hey, look, we want in. I said, okay. They asked me, this guy named Electro and a couple other guys. They said, you asked me, what name should we call it? So I named it Dancehall Fridays. And then, you know, they started doing radio ads and stuff like that. I tell them, listen, I could guarantee you guys in 2 months, you guys will not be able to fit the amount of people that's coming.
Yep.
And we started, I said, listen, I'll do it for 400. I don't mind saying it. I said, we'll do it for 400. But as the people start to pack in, my price got to change. We got to go up to 800.
Oh, trust me, I was
right?
I was a witness of that change.
And
because there was times when you came from payday and you was counting that cash. I was like, I'm about to be a DJ tonight.
You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as it got to the point where they can't even fit no more people coming in, because around that time, Signal the Plane and a lot of this dancehall hits was out. I was
terrible.
I was one of the first people, if not the first person, in Boston, right, at the club, when Signal the Plane was out, to have everybody inside the club, have them turn off the lights and put their phone up in the air and they signal in the plane with the song.
Oh, I was there.
Know?
Oh, yeah.
So as soon as people started coming, it's packed. Then all of a sudden now they don't want to pay me my asking price. So I said, dude, you guys even up the price at the door. And then I said, you know what? Nah. I gave them a few more weeks. They didn't want to change it. So I was like, okay, time to make my exit. I don't care how much people is going inside there now. I brought them inside. I could move them somewhere else.
Well,
you know,
that's a business. That's a clear. That's just somebody knowing their value in a situation.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and then from there, I remember the night that I left. You know, they brought another DJ, and when I got there, I said, "Listen, I'm not gonna spin. I'm all right. You guys could allow this guy to spin, and he could do the night, and he could take over the night if you want to." Mm-hmm. And as I was going down the stairs, that's when I met Olivia.
Yeah.
And me and Olivia was talking, and we exchanged numbers. And she said, you know, she wants to do a night, but she don't know what to do or how to start it, blah blah blah. She went to Babson at the time.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'll come and meet you down there. Me and you could talk about it and see what we could work out. So I went down there and I met her, and she said, she didn't know what to call it night. I said, well, look, if I'm gonna be part of this, if we're gonna work it together, my team, because it was King Ilabash and the Bashman crew.
Yep.
So I said, listen, my team didn't feel too good because the last night I was doing over there, it was called Dancehall Fridays. It's like, yo, Bash, we didn't feel like we was included. It was just like you. I said, all right, cool. Don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of that. So when me and I was talking about it, I said, listen, if we're going to do this, the name of the night have to be Bashment Fridays. Mm-hmm. So it was just straight the Bashment crew. So King Ilabash, Bashment crew, it's right there.
All right.
So it has to be Bashment Fridays. That's how the name came about.
Well, you always was, that doesn't surprise me because you always included your crew to win.
Yeah.
You always wanted people in your crew to win.
100%.
Whether I was, listen, you even hired me as a security man at one of your clubs that you were doing.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, no one was scared of me. They were like, this is a security guy.
Nah, but I feel like,
but it was just, you just had you made sure your team was taken care of.
Yeah.
You made sure that they were always got home safe.
100%.
And you always made you was never. I mean, we're all selfish in a certain way, right? Like in a weird way, but you weren't selfish in a way where you didn't pay it forward to people, and I think that's just the key to kind of having a consistent career.
Absolutely.
We know people that's they've moved on and they've done great things and they're up here. And we know those people,
right?
Right. But a lot of those people, unfortunately, they just kind of they don't really reach out back to the people that they started with, and it's all good. But
for me it's all right. Because everyone got the road that they have to walk. Sometimes we meet one person twice or three times on the path. Mm-hmm. And at the time we meet them, the third time or, the fourth time or whatever much times on the path, that's where either you got to ask yourself a question, why did we meet again? Why did we think again? What's the circumstance? What's the situation?
Right.
And they should ask yourself the same thing too, because then there's something there that is unfinished. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you try to put God first and ask the question and don't lean up on your own understanding, and you take life as it comes, and you continue to go. You were the first you were one of the first conscious people that I had a relationship with. There's only a few people that I've known throughout my life, I should say, that were consciously elevating me, right, as much as they can. Right.
You were the one of the first ones. The other one's Ermias Ascarom, which is Nipsey Hussle.
Okay, nice.
But you were like started it for me. It always was in me.
Right.
You know, we would have conversations in the car after gigs, you know, your gig, stuff like that. You would say, you know, we would have these like hour conversations in the car or on the porch.
Right.
You know, hey, you know, because, you know, my nickname is Bub.
Yes.
I got you.
Oh my God!
I gotta
yes,
say, yeah,
yes,
you know,
yes.
my you know,
Yeah.
I had a lot of nicknames growing up, but our nickname,
It
people
was
know
Bub.
me. Our college crew, they know me as Bub.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you know, and I think it was because I think I hit my lip on the table.
Correct.
And I got a bubble lip.
Yep.
And they call me Bub. Yo, I fucked up my lip
Right
too.
then and there. Right then and there, it was born.
The lip became big and all that.
One time.
Yeah.
One time.
They called me Bub.
I mean, and you see, like, those times is priceless and is precious because at that moment, just the fact that at that very moment, a name came for you at that moment, like, it showed people.
Our crew was funny, man.
Exactly.
Our
Like
crew
we was
funny.
thinking,
Yeah.
you know, and it wasn't malice thinking. You see what I'm saying? It was fun. You know, it was all inclusive. You know what I mean?
Jabbing at each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
we had thick skin. You know, we knew how to, you know, have a good time. We know how to cap on one another. You come back and blah, 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 and everything like everybody's good.
Everyone's
you know what I mean?
good.
Yeah, man.
Everyone was good.
Yeah.
And we were, you know, we were out all the time. This is the times where we were out 7 days, 6 days a week.
Oh, man.
We go to class. We come back from class. I would have practice. I would take a nap. Club.
One time.
Yo, what's Ilabash doing? We always would call you. Yo, what's the hot spot tonight?
Right.
What's the hot spot tonight?
Right.
What's the best club that you remember had the best experience DJing in Boston? What's the best overall place that just has a good memory? For me, there was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but every time that you spun at the Palace, I'm sorry, at the after party place,
After hours.
Tantra. It was Vision.
No, Tantra. It was Tantra at first. Now that experience of Tantra was it was crazy because Russell Robot, who was
Great name, by the way. Great name.
The owner of.
I wish I had some applause. Russell Robot.
Yeah.
Fucking great name. Big dick energy right there.
He owned the Palace. You know, at the time he owned those nightclubs over there.
Ooh. He's
and-
one of those guys. You know,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Hey.
they had an after hours going, and Tantra had the after hours going as well.
Right.
But the guys who was doing Tantra, I met them since I was going to school in New Hampshire. They're the first one who had owned the Palace and the Coliseum.
Right.
Up there, up in Manchester. So it was a pyramid, and then they changed it into the Coliseum.
That's what it was.
Yeah, the pyramid, yeah.
Pyramid, yeah.
So they was the one doing Tantra. So I've already had a relationship with them. So I wasn't gonna,
Right.
give it up. So then Russell Robot called me himself and said, "Hey, listen, Ilabash, whatever they're paying you at Tantra, I'll triple it for you to come and spin for me."
I know that number.
You know?
I wasn't good at math, but I know that number pretty good.
So, that's when I told him, I said, "Okay, let me think about it." And then
I wouldn't have thought about it. Shit, that's
nah.
triple the more than I got.
Well, see, for me, I had a relationship with those guys, and the money didn't really move me that much because the relationship I had with them,
Yeah.
it meant more to me than the money.
Yeah. That's what the business relationships outweigh the economics. Right.
So then I got in touch with Anthony at the time, and I was like, "Yo, Ant," I was like, "Listen, man, I'm not asking you for, I'm not asking you to raise the price or anything like that, but look, listen, this is what's going on. I got a phone call from such and such, and they're willing to triple what I'm getting from you to go over there and spin." And he was like, "Ilabash, what are you going to do? You're going to go? Come on, man. Don't tell me you're going to go." I said, no, I'm not going to go. Of course not. He was like, "Oh, man." And then right away, on the billboard right outside Tantra,
Right.
they went and they put DJ Ilabash is spinning here every Friday night for the after hours.
Oh, shit.
So everyone who passed by on the highway
Right. See that.
was seeing that and seeing my name, DJ Ilabash is spinning here.
And that was DJing, promoting DJs back then was huge.
It was huge.
Because there was no social media back then, bro.
Yeah.
We
So
didn't
that
have
was
this
huge.
social media shit.
No.
Everything that we did was grassroots promotions.
100%.
Street team. Straight up. We would be street teaming it.
Yeah.
Promoting.
100%.
We'd go on the radio sometimes. If we were lucky to go on the radio, I'm
Yeah.
saying we as if they did well. I mean, they didn't need me. Like him, I just followed him. But it was real grassroots stuff, man. And it was like, and I'm not gonna be one of these old timer guys that's gonna shit on the younger generation, but there is kind of a disconnect of appreciation.
Yeah, there is.
More
There
so
is.
than anything else.
There is.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. But that was one of the spots that I think. But
what was the main one? What's the one?
The main one was Visions. At first it was Visions.
Yeah, Vision.
And then they named it Taboo afterwards.
Right. That place was packed.
Man, listen. On the Sunday nights.
By the way, I also have to thank you too, because ever since I got to know you, I still get in nightclubs for free 20 years later. So I appreciate that. Yo, because of this dude, I got in nightclubs for free for a long time. Even I didn't show up. I'd be like, yo, Ilabash is here spinning. They're like, nah. I'd be like, can I still get in though?
Like that night, we had moved after hours to the Diplomat.
Yeah.
And the Diplomat now, I was upstairs.
I remember Dipset came there one time.
Yeah, and Chubby Chub was spinning downstairs.
GJ Chubby Chub.
Yeah, and I'll set up upstairs and wait until a certain time, maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30 or something, like around 3 o'clock.
God damn, there was some good DJs.
Like it was packed, but everybody would be waiting for the upstairs to open. It got to the point at one point in time they thought the flooring upstairs was gonna cave in because the huge chandelier everything was just going like this.
How many people could fit in that?
Oh man, they had at least
capacity.
I think it was a couple thousand, and it used to be packed.
Yo,
It used to be packed.
fam said a couple thousand.
Yeah, it was packed.
I can't even get 3 people in my house for dinner.
Listen, let me tell you, talk about packed. So then they wanted to do a Sunday night, and that time it was me, Bruno, and Master Millions.
DJ Master Millions.
Yeah. Very great guy. Very, very great guy. Great personality and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, Bruno and Master Millions, people you definitely would want to know.
Yeah.
Great people. So they started doing the Sunday nights, but we went and first pitched it to Visions, and Frank and them took it.
Yep.
And we started spinning.
Yep.
Then Anthony tried to strong arm Bruno. Was like, hey, listen, Bruno, you got to bring it down here, man. We already doing the Friday nights, bring it back down here. And then Bruno and them was like, yo, Ilabash, we're going to have to go back down to the Diplomat. And I was like, yo, Bruno.
We have a good thing over here going.
Me and you is me and you.
Yeah.
I got you 100%.
Right.
But I don't want to go down there on the Sunday night.
Right.
I think I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they kind of centered it around me.
Yeah.
As the reggae.
Well,
night.
you were good. You're still good.
So I was like, nah, Bruno, I don't think I want to go. And they kept doing. We kept pushing it. And then I told Frank. I said, Frank, listen, this is good, but let's tip it over the edge. Now this is how we could tip it over the edge. See the folks doing the radio ads?
Right.
We don't want their voice doing the radio ads.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to jamming.
Right.
And I'm gonna do the radio ads.
Yeah.
And have my voice be on it.
Yeah.
And we'll be good to go. So as soon as I did that, I think 2 weeks later,
I remember.
The capacity of that place was 900.
900.
2 weeks later,
right,
we couldn't fit everybody.
Huh.
It was coming. Like it got to the point on the holiday weekends.
Oh yeah.
One door would be charging $20 to get in. Then the other door is charging $55 to get in.
Yeah.
And the $55 door was almost going out to the highway. The $20 door was damn near in the highway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and it was just crazy.
You know how many times that we pulled up to a club before you DJing, and we would see the line, and we'd be like, "Yeah, we good." I'm talking about lines around the corner.
Yeah.
Where this is a time again where people were out and clubs were in, DJs were the thing.
Exactly.
DJ made the party. There was none of this like
100%.
Apple iPhone shit.
100%.
There was the DJ who made the experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know you have to get going soon, but I did want to ask, talk about, what you got going on now, because you have a band as well, right?
Yeah, so from the DJing, while I was DJing, I used to always put on instrumentals and sing.
Right.
And just to see people's reaction, a lot of times they didn't even know it was me singing. They thought it was a record that was playing. Yeah. And they just continued doing. So I continued writing different songs and stuff like that. And around 2012 or so, I think, I completed one album. And,
good for you.
And I put it out. And a friend of mine who works for VP Records heard the album. And what I did was I didn't cut corners. I wrote the song. A friend of mine named Tommy, Think Records, Think Studios. I went to him, his studio, and we recorded the whole album. And I actually took the time and I did a photo shoot. Like because I was just thinking, okay, if I'm gonna put this out, it's gotta be look like it belongs on the shelf with other artists out there who have their music and they get record deals, whatever the case may be. It has to look it can't be no bootleg thing.
Can't be no bullshit.
Yeah, so I did the photo shoot, got album cover, the inside, giving little footnotes about different things, the whole nine, tracks, everything, back cover, the whole nine. So at the time I would give it to you, had it shrink wrap and everything. I paid and sent it to California, got it shrink wrap, everything. So at the time I give you the album, you could not say, okay, this is something that somebody just, recorded out of the house and put it inside a sleeve and give it to you. I don't want to do that. So after I did that, another friend of mine gave it to another friend of his who knew someone who worked for VP Records.
Yeah. His mama who knew his mama, and the mama knew somebody who daddy babysitted his mama, grandfather shit.
Correct.
I know that man.
And when the guy at VP Records heard it, he said, they like it.
Yeah.
So then my friend who I gave it to, he called me and he said, hey, what are you doing next Tuesday? I said, I'm here. He was like, listen, the folks at VP Records want to meet you. They want to give you a distribution deal.
Okay.
And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. I was like, you sure? He was like, 100%. I was like, you kidding?
You sure?
Yeah, because this is the record label now that all of these guys, Buju Banton and all these are the people who distribute their music.
Yeah.
So now my music is about to, like they about to put their stamp on it and distribute it for me.
That's right.
So I'm like, is this really happening? So I went down there and I met the big boss, met everyone. And they told me, hey, listen, we like the music. The fact that we didn't have to do no work was great. Oh. And how everything sounds, excellent. Everything you did.
That's right.
And he said, they told me the only thing we'd like you to do is the people who actually build those rhythms. We want you to just go back and put rhythm by blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And I said, after you finish, just bring us down some copy and we're going to put it up digitally and everything on our site. And all you got to do is just start to promote it. And they took the first album, they took the second album, and now I'm working on the third one.
My man.
Yeah.
That's good. There's something great about living a life of doing what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not many people in this world that can say that.
Yeah.
That they're able to do the thing that they love to do and get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
But the thing is, I've witnessed it from you, and I'm doing it myself.
Right.
Doing what you want to do and being happy comes at a price.
It does. It does.
And what's the price that you're willing to pay in order to be happy?
Yeah.
And and I feel like you paid, a lot of dues.
A lot.
It's good stuff.
Man, some of the things that I've went through, even when I started, I wanted, to be a promoter, promote my own events. When I did the event down at Sarah's dorm.
Yes.
Remember, you was a security guard. We was called you
Goddamn
Columbo.
right, I was security guard.
Columbo because of the jacket he had on, the trench coat. We started calling this guy Columbo. Okay.
I used to have a beige
he had the trench coat and put it on with the hat and everything. And that worked, right? And
What, the jacket?
no, like the event. Well, the jacket worked, of course, of course. And prior to doing that, my first experience with trying to promote, it was a little weird,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. It's the first time.
It was a little weird because I sat down, and at that time, this is when I was like, okay, how am I gonna get my name really out in Boston in certain areas and going around the college areas? So what I did was, because I was like, I had a girlfriend, but is me and her gonna be together for the rest of our life? Probably not. We young at that time. Things,
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, like I didn't see that happening.
That's a whole nother episode.
So what I did was,
because of the DJ. Life
so
is
what
good.
I did was for that one, to just see if it worked. It's crazy. It's about to be crazy. But I went out and I got 7 girlfriends.
Say what?
7 girlfriends. Right.
This is something you just woke up like out of bed and you're just like, oh.
Like when I woke up, like honestly, like the next day I was like, okay, how am I gonna make this work? I need people to promote, and I need people who's gonna actually bring people. So I was like, okay. A lot of times I go and spin it. It's majority females that's coming, and there's a lot of guys that's coming too. I was like, you know what? All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get 7 girlfriends, and each one of them. Yeah, like this is what I just thought. It just came to mind, and I said, I'm going to do it. So I said, now, each one of them are responsible for bringing at least 20 people. If you can't bring 20 people, we're breaking up. Okay? That was just it. If you can't bring 20 people to the party, we're breaking up. I don't want to be with you no more. Right? That was just it. And like, I don't know. I just sat and I thought about all of that, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. I went out and I got 7 girlfriends, right? And I didn't plan to stay with anyone. You see what I'm saying? I was thinking, okay, all of them going to be in the same venue, so I know we're going to break up. I already know we're going to break up. But the only thing I got to just try to figure out, okay, how am I going to make sure that they don't fight? Each other and me. That was my biggest concern. I didn't care about anything else. That was the biggest concern. How am I going to make sure they don't fight each other and fight me and make the whole place, the people say, yo, we're not renting this spot to you anymore. So this is when my friend Smokey came down. So and one of my girlfriend at that time, she was cool, but she was a little crazy. And that's the one that would start the fight. And so I was like, okay. We got in there. It was called the Brazilian Cultural Club in Cambridge on Webster Street at the time. I think they changed it over to something else now. Mm-hmm. So
it's called the Cambridge Jail. That's what it
is. Right?
That's where she is right about.
So my friend Smokey from Maine, came down, and I said, listen, Smokey, all of this equipment right here, the 2 turntables, mix everything, is yours. No matter what you see happening, no matter even if you see I'm spinning at the time, and I pointed at the specific girl who would, if anything, shit would start with her. Mm-hmm. I said, if you see she come over here at any time, you say all of this shit is yours, right? I already know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, sure enough, Sarah,
right?
I met Sarah randomly. I was like, yo, I talked to her real quick. Yo, boom, boom, boom. And in a week, me and I was boyfriend or girlfriend, or probably less, right? Her friend, one of her friends, knew one of Phoebe's friends.
Okay.
And that's when they started talking, and I was spinning at the time, and lucky thing Smokey was standing next to me. And Phoebe came over and she was like, Ilabash, would you like to meet my friend Sarah? I said, oh God, I see them coming. I already knew it was a rap.
Yep.
So I was like, shit. I was like, yo, Smoke. I know Smoke. I was like, Smoke, remember, this is your shit. This is your shit, okay? So Phoebe came, and Phoebe, as soon as she was like, meet my friend Sarah, she was about to grab the turntable and flip it. As soon as she was about to grab the turntable, I said, okay, go ahead. That's Smokey shit. You want to pay for Smokey shit? Go ahead. Break it. Break it if you want to break it. I don't give a shit. That's Smokey shit. Break it if you want to. All right? But that was my only defense. That was my only defense. Any other thing, I had none.
You had nothing.
I had none. Everything, the party was about to stop. Everything. I couldn't have that happen.
No.
Hey, smoky shit, break it. You're going to have to pay for it. One time, as soon as I tell her that, she calmed down.
Yeah.
And she walked away. Her and Sarah walked away. So I was like, okay. But the party, now I was just wanted them to bring 20 people, right?
Yeah.
You know, I ended up having almost 500 people in there.
Yeah, man.
500. So from then now, I had one person at the door, MySpace said, and all that, collecting everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Oh, you had an operation.
So yeah,
I witnessed that operation.
So it started building from there, and you know, nobody was in love or anything like that. So I took Sarah home, and Sarah, me and her still end up being friends.
That's good.
The other girls, it was like, whatever, I don't care, go back and meet your girlfriend, blah blah. You know what I mean? And that right there sparked a whole movement of, anytime I tell you I'm going to bring this amount of people, they're guaranteed to show up.
Right.
That right there started. So then my fan base started building from there, and it just started getting larger and larger and larger.
It did.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to what's going on right now. You know, how you have to start, the grassroots. Grassroots. Being,
you got to put yourself in the line of fire.
A lot of people.
That's what I did.
You sure
that's
put.
What I did.
I've witnessed a lot of those line of fires. And that's another episode.
Yes.
There was one time you wanted me to pretend to be a cop. So because the girl's knocking on the door, and you was like, "Yo, pretend this is your house and you're a cop." I'm like, "Yo, she can tell by my voice I am 5'7". Like, ain't nothing going crazy.
Oh man.
Anyways, long story short, I like to just plug your. Where can people find you?
So
because you're a special talent, I think people need to need to follow
they
you.
can find me on Instagram, King Ilabash.
How you spell it?
KING ILABASH.
All right.
If they want to check out my music, all digital platforms, iTunes, everything on your phone, anywhere,
Right.
you could able to find it. King Ilabash. Currently working on the third album now, and I'm looking to travel to do a lot of the music videos and stuff like that to Dominican Republic.
Yep.
Back to my country, Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go through Argentina and a lot of these places and stuff like that. On YouTube, Mr. King Ilabash, you can check out some of my music videos, see some stuff with me and my band and everything like that.
That's right.
Anyway, if they want to purchase some music and stuff like that, it'd be great.
Yeah.
If they want, my next upcoming shows and stuff like that, it's actually in the works now. So it'll be posting up pretty soon, and they could come check me out.
Oh yeah, my followers, they I have a good fan base of music followers, lovers, man. So don't be surprised if you get
Oh, I appreciate
some
it.
people
appreciate
that
it,
So I again, this podcast was many years in the making.
Yeah.
We had some time apart. We went different ways for a little while, but the one thing about life, it's always interesting that good people will always find good people again.
Exactly, man. 100%.
And I always wanted to make you proud, because you were the first people to kind of groom me into this entertainment shit.
I appreciate that, man.
I hope I'm making you proud by doing the same thing.
100%.
And and we're gonna keep riding this train.
Absolutely,
And then,
absolutely.
And then we're gonna keep going.
And I also want to give my studio a plug as well.
Oh yeah.
So after I finished doing my second album, I recorded it at Cyber Sounds, and after spending the money there, I said, look, I want to record my music next time in the comfort of my own home, and I wanted to be in a position where other artists could come and record their music there too. So I put together my studio, state of the art, 100%. So it's called Studio 92.
Okay.
At the time, I also have an audio rental company.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do for a lot of DJs, a lot of events and stuff like that, just keep within the
realm
entertainment.
of music. Yeah.
If they're looking to do concerts, speeches, whatever have you, parties, it doesn't matter. Even up to a scale of 3,000 people, I could provide a sound system for you, live band, instruments and stuff like that, backline, the whole nine. I could provide all that for them. Lighting, uplighting, the whole nine. So you check out kpaudioandlighting.com.
Okay.
And this is where they can find, all the equipment that I have for rental and stuff like that. And we also have a page about Studio 92
Right.
where they could check out all the gear and everything like that and come through. Yeah.
Hey, man, there's two things that they say, and I'll leave this podcast like this.
Mm-hmm.
Kings lead, and they serve people.
Yeah.
King Ilabash.
Boom,
You know what I'm
there
saying?
it is.
And, you serve people, and they serve you back. You know what I'm saying? And the other
100%.
thing is, too, they say you measure a man based on distance traveled.
It's true.
And you're one of them.
It's true.
So you got a lot of wisdom, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of your stuff. And I'm glad that we got back into the mix.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, King Ilabash.
I appreciate you having me, man. Blessed love.
Bless love, brother.
All right.
Thanks again, guys, for Chase Abel. I'm Chase Abel. That's King Ilabash. Please give him a follow. You guys can follow me always on Instagram at Chase Abel, ChaseAbel. Please subscribe, download, rate, and share the podcast. I will be coming back to the studio. The studio is fantastic. Shout out to Jeff for having us. And have a blessed week. And guys, get after it. Thank you. Have a good time.
Boom.